So let's determine the critical value or values, if there are any, for f of x equals the square root of x minus 3. Well, the critical values of function are going to be the values in the domain of the function that make the first derivative equal to 0, or that make the first derivative undefined. So what is our domain of this original function? Well, the thing underneath the square root, x minus 3, is going to have to be greater than or equal to 0. So that means our domain is going to be all x's greater than or equal to 3. So now let's see what happens with our first derivative. So we have f of x equals the square root of x minus 3. And let's rewrite that as a power, x minus 3 to the 1/2 power, so it's easier to take the derivative. What's our first derivative going to be? Well, we have something to the 1/2 power. So our derivative is going to be 1/2 times that thing to the 1/2 minus 1, or negative 1/2 power, times, because of the chain rule, the derivative of that thing. That's just going to be 1 in this case. So we have 1/2 x minus 3 to the negative 1/2 power, or we can think of that as 1 over 2 and the square root of x minus 3. Now let's look at values of x that are greater than or equal to 3 and that make this first derivative either equal to 0 or that make it undefined. So are there any values of x that make our first derivative equal to 0? Well, no, right? So there are none of those. What about undefined? Well, if x equals 3, then our denominator is going to equal 0, which would make the first derivative undefined. And x equals 3 is in the domain of the original function. So the only value of x that makes our first derivative undefined is x equal to 3, and that's also our only critical value for our function.